Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. In this video, I'm going to be testing plant identification apps. There's lots of different plant identification apps in the Apple App Store and on the Android App Store. I happen to use Android, but there's just a ton of apps you can choose from that will help you identify plants. If you're, in a park or in a neighbor's yard or in your own yard and you want to, identify something in your garden, a lot of these apps are pretty good at that. I'm going to include 6 in this video, and I'm going to record my screen as I go so that you can see the interface for each of these. 2 of them I paid for, the other 4 I did not, but 2 of them I think play ads in between when you're waiting, when you've uploaded the photo before it shows you the answer. You have to watch an ad, or maybe it's a skippable ad. One has a donate button, and the other one is Google Lens, which is free, but we'll talk about more about that when we get to it. I am not super testing these. I've taken 10 kind of basic photos and put them in a folder, and so I'm giving each of these 10 tries and see which, how good they are at identifying these. If you'd like to see a video with some additional ones that you guys use, name those down below. And if you'd like to see me, go a little deeper on this test and find some harder things for them to identify. These are kind of basic things I think people would be interested in knowing the identification of. The quality of your photo goes a long, long way. Okay, this is the most important thing. I get emails all the time with somebody wanting me to identify something with the worst photo I've ever seen. And I can't identify it with my eyeballs. And so I know that these apps are not going to do a very good job of identifying it. So, take your time taking your photo. Taking photos early in the day and late in the day tend to just make for better photos. Make sure you touch the screen and focus on exactly what you're trying to focus on. These things can identify from flower, from leaves, from bark, and from the fruit on the plants. And so, you can take photos of different parts of the plants if you're struggling to get it identified. So let's jump right in. I'm just going to record my screen as I go. So this is the first one up. It's called PlantNet. It's got a pretty interesting interface. The most recent things that have been uploaded onto it, where it's identified things, they have on the main screen, and you can help validate the results. That where it's identified something or somebody's uploaded something and then they've identified it, it allows you to validate that if you know that plant, and it helps it helps PlantNet continue to learn. So that's the page you see when you get here. This one you can donate to them, is how they go about making money. I believe there might be a paid service here. I haven't seen it, but like I say, there is a donate button. If I go to the photo button right down at the bottom, it pulls up this page, and if I hit the center spot on this, it will pull up my camera. I have to give it access to my camera, which I've already done. And I can come over and look at these New Guinea impatiens, or I can take a photo right here of this variegated boxwood or this vinca right there. And once I take the photo, I can, it will identify it from there. If I go back, the button on the left goes to my files, and I put all of the photos that I'm going to be using here in a folder called ID apps. This is kind of important because a couple of these apps don't have very good interfaces, and I can't get to a file that I made. It only just goes to my recent camera photos. You'll see that in just a minute. The first, let's see, like I say, I picked 10 plants that I was going to use, and I added them to this folder. I'm going to start with this buttonbush, which should be a fairly easy thing. This is a native plant to the southeast. And again, here I pulled my photo up, and you can see that I can either hit leaf, flower, fruit, or bark. And I'm going to hit flower and let it do its thing. And there you go, Cephalanthus. It very quickly identified it. If I'm 100% sure that this is correct, I can hit confirm. And it will help the app going forward. And it will put it up on that main screen and allow other people that are coming onto the app to confirm it as well, to make sure, again, that it's getting accurate information. If I back out of there, I'll hit that button again to pull my folder back up. The second thing I'm going to be identifying is Agapanthus. Again, this one should be super basic, really, for this app. And again, boom, very quickly Agapanthus African lily, and I'll confirm that it got that one correct as well. We're not really testing it all that much yet. I'm going to pull up this butterfly bush flower. Again, this one should be super, super easy. It is. There it is. Buddleia davidii, butterfly bush, no problem. And very quick. You can see how quick this thing can actually ID. Next up on my list, I'm going to keep the same order on all of these. This is Asclepias, or butterfly weed, Asclepias tuberosa to be specific. Hit the flower and boom, top choice, Asclepias tuberosa butterfly weed. And I can confirm it right here and help the app out going forward. Obviously, if you're not 100% sure, don't hit that confirm button. There's other guesses that it makes further down the list. Again, if you're truly trying to get it identified, don't hit that confirm button. If you're just testing the app like I'm doing right now, and you feel strongly confident that it's gotten it correct, use the confirm button, because that's what's helping. Again, that's what's helping the app out. Monarda is next up, and let's see. There it is, Monarda bee balm. Had no problem whatsoever. It even hit the native bee balm, which was pretty daggone good. That's a photo I took down in Alabama recently of a native stand of bee balm. Okay, we're gonna flip over and do leaves now. Leave the flowers and do leaves. I think these are gonna be more difficult for any of the apps. The flowers, obviously, and more people probably taking photos of flowers. So it's little AI learning is probably, got lots and lots of flower examples. Leaves are going to be a little bit different. This davidii Viburnum, I think, is going to be very, very tough. There's water on the leaves. It's a well-focused photo, but, oh, no, I hit flower. I messed that up. Oh, it identified it anyway. Hold on. I made a mistake, and it did it anyway. Hold on. So I hit leaf, and, okay, so this particular app is connected to another project, which they call World Flora. And I can hit identify in World Flora, and there it is, Viburnum davidii. It's pretty impressive, honestly, that from a single leaf. It's an interesting leaf. It's not a super, it is a, davidii Viburnum has an interesting enough leaf that it sets itself apart. So I'm not that surprised that it identified it, but pretty good, pretty good. I'm gonna give that a pretty good. Number 7 is just a basic azalea leaf. And it may struggle with this. This is just green leaves. Let's see. Okay, it has missed on this. It's got, wants to guess blueberry. Interesting. They're both in Ericaceae family, but it's not even giving me a guess of azalea. So it did miss. It did miss on that one. We'll back out. And number 8 is Loropetalum. This is just a purple foliage. Loropetalum chinensis. I would think this is super common enough that it should have been uploaded a lot over the years. And again, it has that identify in World Flora button. There it is, Loropetalum chinensis, so our Chinese fringe flower. Boom, got that one. Number 9, I took a photo of just some camellia leaves. They're no flowers on these, just camellia leaves. Let's see what it can do. There it is, Camellia sasanqua. Not only did it do camellia, it knows Camellia sasanqua versus Camellia japonica. It doesn't even have the bad get. Well, about 5th down, Camellia japonica is an option. Camellia sinensis, which is T. Camellias is the 3rd choice. And again, it wanted that blueberry again, or huckleberry actually. But again, I'm going to confirm this is a Camellia sasanqua and help the app out there. And the last one up, every one of these apps should get. This is Sassafras. It has the most interesting, turkey foot leaf that pretty much all of these apps should be able to identify. If it doesn't do Sassafras, I think the app probably has an issue. And there you go. Had no problem at all identifying Sassafras. So that's PlantNet. I think this app is very good. So PlantNet got 9 out of 10. I thought that was pretty good. The azalea seemed to be a little tough for it, and it didn't even make that as a rough guess. But anyway, 9 out of 10 is not bad. The next app is called Leaf Snap. This one has a premium version you can pay for to get rid of ads. but without it, it will put an ad in all likelihood between me uploading the photo and it identifying the photo. I'm not going to show you all 10 plants again. I'm just going to kind of quickly go through them after I show you one, after I show you the interface for each of these. Again, this one's got the take photo button and you got to give it permission. But again, I can just go through, take a photo and let it ID that way. Or again, I can upload a photo and it goes to all my photos on my phone. Again, I put these in an app and it just allowed me to get to them pretty easily. We'll go to that Buttonbush again, and again, it's the same options here. You get the leaf, flower, fruit, or bark. I'm going to hit flower, and it's thinking about it. And here you go. Here's an ad. There it is. Cephalanthus. I had no problem with it. There's a brief ad in the middle there, and you can confirm it just like you could in the other app. So I'm going to go through the other 9 really quickly. Leaf snap was so close to getting 10 out of 10, and the 9th one is Camellia sasanqua, and it put Camellia japonica at the top. Camellia sasanqua was second though, so it did have the correct result in the list, but if you were trying to, the PlantNet had identified it very much as sasanqua. They have enough difference that the app probably should know the difference, but that's super close. And again, it was in the list, so I got to consider it in first place right this minute. Next up is one called PictureThis, and it's got a premium service, the same as the last one, but it will do the ad thing. If I hit the button down at the bottom of it, again, it goes right to camera. I've already given it permission. Again, I can just take the photo, directly from my camera, or I can hit right beside it. There's a photo button and allows me to pull up my images. Since I've downloaded this one, this is where this one struggles. For some reason, it just takes a long time for it to pull up to get access to your images. The problem is, I think it's trying to look at all 9,000 images I have on my phone. I wish it would have just gone to a spot to allow me to pick what I wanted to actually pick from. Just go to files, rather than trying to access my entire phone, because it's a little bit laggy there. Not that big of a deal. Again, on PictureThis, I'm going to go through the same exact 10 plants. Again, that Buttonbush is the first one. Again, these also have a thing where you can line the photo up. You can place the photo directly in the center of their little square. And again, boom, just super fast on this one. Pops up down at the bottom. You can add it to your garden and create a space where it's things that you've identified. You can share it. Interesting app that's super fast. I'm going to go through the other 9 really quickly. So I actually abandoned PictureThis. I went through that 3 times. Every single time I hit I hit the button to go to photos, it had that crazy long lag time where it was trying to access my entire phone for whatever reason, and then I would have to go and find that folder again and then do it. I was like, it takes a long time. I mean, in comparison to the first 2 I did, it takes a long time. I will also say that Leaf Snap did not go back to that same folder I'm using either. I actually had to go find that folder each time. It was much quicker than PictureThis, but I did have to go back and find that folder. PlantNet, which I'm going to put back in first place, because PlantNet, once I picked a photo from that file that I had created, it goes back to that file every time that I want to access a photo. It's a little bit of a shortcut. Maybe that's not the place I want to go every time, but at least it's making some sort of educated guess and trying to save me time. And so again, I just kind of went and abandoned that one. The next one I'm going to pull up here is, let me get my recording started. The next one I'm going to pull up here is PlantSnap. And PlantSnap, I actually, this one I actually paid $2.99 for. So $2.99 a month. It gave me the option of doing like 3 or 5 photos per day without paying anything. So if you're just going to use it once or twice, I didn't have to pay. But in order to do these 10 photo tests that I'm doing, I'm paying $2.99 a month for it. It pulls up the camera immediately, as you can see, and I can take a photo and ID it that way. Or again, over here on the right, there's a button, and because I had used this app earlier after I had paid for it, I used it once. It's going to this folder that I had created with the plants for this video. Hummingbird right here to my right. I wish I had on video right this minute. You know, I should try to ID that. I should try to ID the hummingbird, because it will. Some of these will do animals as well. But okay, so here's the folder. It went right to it. Loving this app so far. The first photo we've been doing is that Buttonbush. Let's hit done with that, and ooh, it's on there. It's the 4th choice, Cephalanthus. It's the 4th choice. So despite the fact that I like the interface for it, it did not do a good job with that one. Let's go to the Agapanthus. You can move this little frame around, put it right on what you want to identify. This one doesn't give you a choice of identifying leaves or whatever. It just, okay, so it identifies Agapanthus, but it says Tom Thumb Agapanthus. That's not the variety that it is. It's tried to get too specific. I think that's probably problematic because there are lots of these Agapanthus, these white Agapanthus that have a little bit of purple in them. I've got 3 different varieties in this yard, and none of them are Tom Thumb, and I think it tried to identify that everyone is Tom Thumb, but as a general, it knows it's Agapanthus. And so, okay, not terrible, I don't guess, but I would rather it not try to identify the exact cultivar. I think that's going to be problematic. Okay, we're going to do butterfly bush. Should be an easy one for any of these apps. Let's see. Whoa, okay, we're going to abandon, what is this one called again? Plant Snap. This thing, it has butterfly bush as the 4th pick further down, but it actually tried to identify this as a mountain laurel, as Camellia. So, okay, that's not really that close. And so, okay, we're going away from that one. Next up is one called Plant ID. And let's see what the interface looks like on this one. This is another one that I paid for. It's $3.99 a month. There was a discount for buying it for the year. It has a mushroom identifier, plant disease. I have the pro version. It's down at the bottom there. I think this one allowed me to take 2 or 3 photos, maybe 5 a day, same as that last one. I'll go up here to plant identify, and it's got flower, leaf, fruit, same thing. So we're going to hit flower. And again, it's going to pull the camera up. All of these kind of want our camera first. There's a photo button down at the bottom on the left. And let's find that folder that I have created called ID apps. Okay, here it is. Hopefully it's going to go back to this ID app space when we try for the second plant. Again, we're going to the Buttonbush. And let's see what it can do here. I can increase the size of it a little bit into that frame, and let's see what it does here. It's thinking about it. It's thinking about it. It's thinking about it. It's thinking about it for a long time. And now it's acting like it's doing specialized things. Okay, but it hit it, knocked it out of the park. Cephalanthus. No problem. So it has no problem identifying it. And then it says, is this Cephalanthus occidentalis? And I can hit yes, just because I know it definitely is. Okay, don't hit that if you're, if you don't actually know, because again, we're trying to help the app in the future, and it will now have my photo as well. Go back to photos. Let's do the, oh, no, hold on. I wanted to go, you see, it did not go back to the folder that I had been using, which is, again, it's not that big of a deal, but it just seems, like it should be able to do that. I mean, 2 of the apps have been able to do that. So let's see. It's working on this Agapanthus. Let's see. So I've abandoned 2 of these 5, and this one right here feels like it's slow intentionally to make it seem like it's, you know, really thinking. It's done okay here. It knows it's Agapanthus. It has not it has not hit the correct Agapanthus as its #1 choice, but that's okay. Agapanthus, you know, I'll take that. I'm going to jump down the list and see if it can do any of these. Just leaves. We'll try the Sassafras first, and it definitely should be able to get Sassafras. If it doesn't get Sassafras, then we'll just move on from this app entirely, because, you know, it's a turkey foot leaf. It's one of the most obvious things in the world to identify when you see it. And just one of my all-time favorite plants, really. The most beautiful fall color, and this thing really takes a long time. The others have been much snappier than this. I have very good internet connection, so it's not that. Okay, here we go. It's thinking about it, it's thinking about it, it's thinking about it, and it's missed, honestly, what should be one of the most basic plants. And so the 2 apps that I've paid for here, the Plant Snap and the Plant ID app, I would probably not recommend. And then PictureThis had that weird thing about lagging. The PlantNet and the Leaf Snap so far are on the top, but again, that Leaf Snap is not that intuitive. So I'm still on PlantNet. Okay, we're going to go over to Google Lens now. So here's Google Lens, and you can put this on pretty much anything. You can put it on your dog, and it'll say, you know, domesticated dog. You can literally just put it on anything, and it'll identify it. Honestly, this app to me is a bit creepy because it is the culmination of all the data mining that Google's ever done, you know, of knowing when you left your house and when you got home, and everything you searched for this week, and everything you bought, and everything you might be buying, and everything you search for and dream about, and every vacation you want to plan, and everything else that it knows about us. And so the app's probably going to be pretty good because it knows us pretty well. And again, it pulls up a photo, so you can take, you know, you can take the photo, and right there it'll put that little blue dot on it, and looking for results. It pulls up vinca as the top result. It gives me phlox as an option because, you know, native phlox has a similar flower but in a different pattern. And then it pulls up the Wikipedia page, and so on and so forth. So of course it's going to be, it's going to be very good because you know, they data mined the heck out of us. Let me go to the photo option, and hopefully, you know, since I'm on an Android phone and I'm on a Google app, that it will lead me back to that same spot, to this same spot where my folder is every time. But let's try the Buttonbush is the first one. I know it's going to ID everything correctly because we've all uploaded 7 million photos to Google. So there it is. It identified it. Cephalanthus, got the Wikipedia page, you know, all kinds of search. You want to buy one, you know, there's Missouri Botanical Garden, which is a great resource as well. Wikipedia, and then of course North Carolina State University, which is 3 blocks from me, their page on it. They've got a great website. So again, I just have a feeling I'm going to go through all 10 on here and get right back with you. Oh, ho ho, ho ho! It missed one. It missed one. Oh, okay. I thought it was going to get every one of them. Let's see. Okay. Okay. All right. So Google Lens actually surprised me. It was unable to identify Azalea. It was unable to identify Camellia sasanqua. And so that kind of surprised me. When it is able to identify something, it can lead you directly to more information. And so that's pretty convenient. but it actually missed more than Leaf Snap or PlantNet. And so, Leaf Snap was 9 out of 10. Okay, and the 10th one it actually had in the list, and so that was the Camellia. It put the Camellia japonica up at the top, but Camellia sasanqua was on the list, so it actually at least made a good guess on the one it didn't know. That app did not take me back to the folder that I had created. It's a small little detail, but I feel like these apps could learn from that. PlantNet got 9 out of 10 and took me back to that folder every single time, so it was fast to use. I really like that app. Again, it's a donate app. You donate something if you're using it. That Leaf Snap app had an ad in between every single one. Not that big of a deal, honestly, unless you're doing it repetitively like I was 10 times in a row. Then the ad became slightly annoying, but I don't think a lot of people are going to be using the app that way. The PictureThis was just too slow. Trying to access my entire phone at once just didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. If it just goes back to that same folder over and over, I don't mind doing it once, but once it knew where I was pulling photos from, I wish it at least made an attempt to go back there much more quickly. So again, I have no idea how good it is. It did okay. IDing plants until I got annoyed with it. The two that I actually paid for were not that great. They weren't great. That's PlantSnap and PlantID. They weren't that great at recognizing the the plants in general. And then Google Lens, which I thought would probably just go 10 for 10 and just be I'd almost be annoyed by it because of how much data mining goes into that, was actually the weakest of the three that I would recommend here at actually identifying plants. So that was kind of interesting. So I'm going to say PlantNet is going to be my favorite of these 6. Leaf Snap number 2, and then Google Lens number 3. PictureThis, PlantSnap, and the PlantID app I probably would not recommend at this time. Thank you guys for following along with this. If there's another PlantID app you want me to take a look at, or up the up the difficulty a little bit, because I don't think these 10 should have been all that difficult. I mean, it was butterfly bush and butterfly weed. Half of these 10 plants were native and half were not. I kind of went for what I thought was kind of a basic mix. But again, PlantNet. Try that one. Thanks for watching.